Hey guys, welcome to tonight's stream, day 39, part 2. And tonight we are having a look at a brand new monster. Ooh! And with that in mind, I am going to create it from the start. Now, I spent about an hour, maybe not as much as that, 30 minutes to an hour, retargeting animations for this monster. So, we should have a good spread of animations. We should have a nice model, and with that in mind, we should be able to start creating a monster. So, let's do that. So the first thing is, we've got two monsters, Parasite Zombie number 1, Parasite Zombie number 2. We are dealing with number 1 at the moment. I have done all the animations. As you can see, there's attack animations, crawl animations, death and rebirth animations, hit reactions, hop, idle, interactive, run, taunt, walk. Okay, so at this level we are going to create a blueprint class. It's going to be a character, and we're going to go BP para zombie 01. Okay, in here it's already got its character movement, and we're going to set its mesh. We're going to set its mesh to don't know what it's called actually. Tell you what we'll do. We'll go back into here, go into character, and there's the skeletal mesh. Okay. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to straighten it up. Okay. So we're going to straighten up, and then we're going to get it so that it's facing the right way. So actually, let's do that first, and basically we need to spin it round 90 degrees. Okay, as you can see by the arrow, that's the way we want to face. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go from the front, and we are probably going to change the half height here, right? But in the first instance, we're going to be moving our character down. Okay, so we want it absolute level with our that should do us. Now we're going to check the size. As you can see, we're a bit on the small side, so we're going to go to our capsule component, and we're going to put that up, let's say, to 96. Right, and that's not really enough, so we're going to go 108, and that's probably a bit too much. I'm going to go 102. That's probably a bit too much as well, so I'm going to go 100. Right, we're going to select our mesh again. We can take our time with this, guys, there's no rush tonight. Okay. So that's pretty close. Right, and I'm going to actually say this, you notice this is minus 99, I'm going to go minus 100, and that's probably just a tad too much, minus 99.25, and that's probably about as close as you can possibly get it, right? We want to make sure it's, yeah, that's good enough, right? Not too high, not too low. Okay, so now we've got our guy, we can save that, and we are ready to go. And so there is our character. Which is good. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to animations. Ooh, that's not so good. Right, this, I'm going to close it. We are going to look at it again, but I've put that in the wrong folder, or it's down a level too low. Right, so we're just going to move up to the main folder, right? Then, in our animations, at this level, we're going to create an animation blueprint. Okay? And it's going to be based on our parasitic zombie, right? But it's not 02, okay? It's actually 01, which is this one. Okay? So this is going to be AVP for animation, and then para zombie 01. Okay. Now, if we look in idle here, I don't know if we've actually got any blend spaces here. It doesn't look like we have, which is fine. That's good. We're not incredibly, but we've got a crawl blend space. Right, so what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to create another folder, and I'm going to call it blend spaces. Okay, and we're going to go in here, and in animation we are going to create a blend space. Okay, and again it's going to be based on our parasite zombie 01, and we're going to call this blend space para zombie idle run. Now this might not actually be run, it might be more like idle walk, right? Depends on what we use here. Okay, so, and it also depends on what we have available to us. So I'm going to go into here again, then we're going to go into here. Okay, and what we're going to do in the first instance is we're going to say direction that's going to be a float. Then we're going to say speed. It's going to be a float. And then we're going to say pawn. Right? And our pawn BP para zombie 1. Okay. So that's going to give us our direction, our speed for moving in our blend space, etc, etc. So we're going to go into blend spaces, open that up. We've got a horizontal axis and a vertical axis, so we're going to go direction, then we're going to go speed. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to have a look at what we really want here is idle. And we actually have a blend space here. That's our blend space. What am I talking about? Let's have a look at some of these. Okay, these are nice. Okay. Now we could use some of these. We could do this and basically pick a random one out here. Don't know what that's special. That looks exactly the same as the other one. And of course we have a third person idle. Right? And this is like a look left idle, a look right idle. Okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with a kind of that one, right? So that'll basically do for 0. Okay. So this is AS Zombie Idle. Hi, La Casa del Gaming. Hello from Mexico. I'm also in Mexico. So hello back from Mexico. So our next thing is we've got a maximum speed of 100, right? I'm going to say that that's going to be 200. except in actual fact this should be minus 180 to 180. Okay, and our speed should be 200. Okay, now our next one is going to be the walk. Okay, so we're going to say walk, and that's a bit weird. Now, what we don't like about that is the fact that it's not a walk-in place. Right? But anyway, we'll go with this one, right? Doesn't really matter. So we'll drag that to there. And if we're going to do a run here, right? Any questions, La Casa, just fire away, mate. And we'll see what we can do. So we've got this AS. Now what we should really do is match these up, right? So if I right click on that, this is the ASNAAT, right? So if I'm going to use anyone, I should probably use this, right? So we basically pump that to the 200, right? And then we can drag these up to see and there you go, there's our now we might not need a direction in this, so I'm going to leave that as is, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're now inside our animation blueprint, okay? So what I'm going to do is create a state machine. So we're going to add state machine, and we're going to rename it, right? We're going to call it, as everybody else does, locomotion, okay? Then we're going to pump that in there. Okay, then we're going to open our state machine, drag this out, this is our entry point, and this is idle slash walk slash run, okay? So basically now we double click on that, we drag in our blend space, we drag that into there, then we get our direction and speed, which we're going to set up in a minute, right? We grab that, we grab that, okay, so that's now all set up, we're looking good. You'll notice now this changes into the correct position. No, we've got a few assets already that have got various sets of animation on them. Right? So I'm just basically pulling in already existing animations that we have at our disposal. Right? I don't, basically, it's safe to say I don't do any of the sort of graphical stuff unless it's really, really simple and it's really just a tweak of something like I did earlier today, which was tweak an animation for the first time ever of my 3 years using Unreal Engine. The first time I ever tweaked an animation in Unreal Engine. Turned out not too bad actually, got to say. Right, so that is our blend space for our idle walk run. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to refer to a previous monster that has this all set up, because we don't want to do this work again. We want to just copy and paste stuff that we know already works. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our infected zombie, right? Then we're going to get the animation blueprint. And he's already all set up. So we're just going to grab his stuff. Okay. So all we need to do is grab this. Go back to our parasitic monster and paste it in here. Now obviously you need to set up these variables first, right, or it will basically not like you doing that very much. Now what I like to do here, right, is I like to get this pawn. Like normally this is all set up that you say, basically what you do is you say try get pawn owner, right? But hey Screen Apple, so normally this says try get pawn owner, right? But when you think about it, that's trying to get a reference every frame to update this animation. So what I like to do, and I think is a better idea, is setting up the pawn once so that you're never getting a reference again. All you're basically doing is getting the reference that you've already set up. Right, now we haven't set this up yet, but we're going to in a second. Right? And that is just going to be on event begin play. Okay, and then basically we're going to pass in the pawn. We're going to say get the pawn for this. Okay, now again it's not set up in the other one, but I'm pretty sure that I've set it up in our animals. Okay, so we can just refer to them if we want. You can see here it's got update animation. Has it got it? Apparently it's not got it. Well, that's weird. Yeah, I know what one you're talking about. I know which game you're talking about, but I never played it. But from what I remember, that was all about mental health and stuff, wasn't it? Right, have I got it in here? Is this where I've got it? Yeah. Okay, so I've got it in the actual our pawn, right? So you can see here that we cast get to pawn, Greenland pawn, dooby dooby doo, right? Now, the interesting thing here is we're obviously not going to do that, right? Groenland pawn, and then what we're doing here is we're setting up the animation instance within the pawn. Right, and the pawn is actually the blueprint for that. Okay, I'm with you. So in theory, we should try get pawn owner, right? Then cast to this. Okay. We can test this, guys. Then we're going to drag in the pawn, going to set it, that's going to go in there, that's going to go in there, and that's us. Okay, for the initial part. Okay, now we are going to be setting up some other variables, right? In fact, just as a test, that's exactly what we'll do, right? I'm going to set up a variable, and I'm going to say is dead. In fact, you know what we could do here? I'm going to say is hit, okay? Because we can test out our bow and arrow and our arrow cam along with this. So if we go into the anim graph, into the state machine, right, we can add a state, it's called hit. Okay, then we'll look for an animation, and we've got a couple of reactions, so we can check these out. That other one's the second one's a bit strong, I'd say, so we'll go with this. Okay. Right, that's okay. That's just telling us that we're never going to get back. Right. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to say AS, I'm going to say hit, okay, and then we'll just say time remaining, right, and we'll just say less than .01. Okay. Now, probably what we want to do there is not do this, right? Probably what we want to actually do here is do this as a montage, right? Because it's a one hit, right? It's more like for a dead. Probably better doing this for a dead because it's a better example. Right, okay, dead. Right. Biting, idle, run, crawl. We're going to get a Kickstarter campaign where the point of the trailer was actually it's going to be part of the Kickstarter campaign. So we'll try. You can also, best way to do it, right, is to join the Groenland Discord, right? And then when the Kickstarter starts, then we'll obviously be posting it in there that we've started it, right? But that's very kind of you if you actually do. Right. Right, so we're actually going to delete this. Right, because that actually doesn't make any sense anymore. Right, so we'll delete that. And we'll change this to dead. Okay. And we're going to change the name of this. Oh yeah, you'll find the link to the Groenland Discord in the description, as well as my personal Discord in the description, okay? So we're going to have an is dead, right? There's always an is dead, let's face it. So we're going to get it, and if it's true, we go in there. Okay. Right, now these aren't going to be as simple as this, because the idea here, okay, this is I don't know if I should be telling you this or not, but I'm going to tell you anyway, right? But these are going to have spores on them, like growths. And the only way you're going to be able to shoot these is if you light your arrows, right? If they get too close to you, they're going to explode and basically kill you, right? And as I said, the only way that you can kill them from a distance is to shoot them with a lit arrow, a flaming arrow. Okay? That's the hypothesis at the moment of how we're going to do this. So if we go back to locomotion, then dead is dead, you can't get up, you're done, right? So we can test this, I believe. I'll tell you what we'll do, right? We'll do what we did before. Right? We'll do a reference back so that it's easy for us to change these things within our... So we've got this, right? And if we go to our blueprint, right, I've not even done a bit of code in here yet, which is understandable, of course, right? But we're going to create an instance, and that's going to be ABP. That, save that. Now if we go back to here, event graph, right, and instance, we can set that, and then we can actually just say self, and that's basically this blueprint. Okay, so we can now directly access the variables of our blueprint from our normal blueprint, right, which kind of makes it easier. A lot of people do this in all different ways, but I have found this to be a particularly nice way to do it, right? So next things is, if we save that, we're going to go in and we're going to do something pretty cool. We're going to get our infected monster, okay? We're going to open them up, and we're going to, this is the hit stuff, right? So if he gets hit with an arrow, this is what happens. Okay, thank you, Cassadell Gaming. Is that Skeletor? No, he's just got a kind of skeleton face. Don't say things like that, because then you can't not do it. Alright, Kent. Right, so we're doing... Kent, did you see the camera? Did you see arrow cam? I'm just about to test arrow cam on this monster, right? So we're going to do our mesh. And that stays character mesh, right? We get our capsule and we say block all dynamic. Okay, well, hang on a second. You'll get to see arrow cam for the first time. Okay, so we've done that, and the next thing we need to do is set up our component hit. Then we paste that. I've got 4,000 hours in Factorio, if that answers your question. You've kind of got to play a bit, right? You've got to play a bit, and the reason I say that is, or at least you've got to have played a bit, let me put it that way, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to get your ideas, and like, for example, if you see a menu that you like, then it sticks in your mind and you say, I'm going to do a menu like that, or a menu like this. So you've got to have some sort of frame of reference, right? That being said, I've been playing computer games for 45 years, so I've got quite a long time. So we're going to get our animation instance, right? And then we're just going to say is dead. And we're going to set it to true. And this should all work. It's not got any AI yet, but we can put it in the world, and it can stand there for a while and look. It can be like a dumb thing. We've got to plug our hit in there. Right. Having said all this, this will not work and I'll look like an idiot, but hey ho, that's nothing new. Right, where's our dudes? Right, let's get a dude. Parasite boy. In you go. Right. and face the music. Okay. Now, there is something not going to work here, right? I was working on this afternoon, and camera arrow cam is brilliant. I think Screen Apple, I think it takes a little while to, like, it loads it up at 720p, and then it takes a while, and then it automatically updates it to HD, I think. I don't know. I'm too old for this technology nonsense, right? So, yeah, what was I saying? Right, ArrowCam. ArrowCam works, right? But I was working on it today, and what I want is the ArrowCam to go and hit something, right? Now, obviously, the ArrowCam follows it, right? So you see from the point of view of the arrow, right? So it goes up and hits something, and then I want it to draw back away so that you can see what you hit, right? But I need to lock it in certain axis, right? Because the arrow attaches to whatever it hits, right? So if the thing that it hits falls over, then the arrow cam follows it, right? Which is not what we really want, right? So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have to slightly change it, I think. But we'll have a look anyway. It's all good fun, right? So there is our dude. And I didn't put the animation blueprint on him. Oh, by the way, so I've done a bit with our animation and stuff, right? So I had to do a lot of jiggery pokery with getting the animation. So I was going to speak to you about that, Kent, but anyway. Right, so if we fire, what's this? Right, and then it hits him. And that didn't work right. But it did hit him, and it did stop. And we've got an error, right? Oh, this was earlier, right? This isn't actually anything to do with the arrow cam. This is an arrow cam issue. This is not the arrow cam issue. This is something else issue, right? But I've got to say, it does look better if we do it from further away, right? I'll tell you what we'll do it from up this ladder. What a great idea. Now we're beginning to see the gameplay possibilities. Right. Right, get your... Right, here we go. Shoot him in the head. Apparently I'm a really bad shot. I'll tell you what I should have done. I should have saved the game there so I'm still standing on top of that box. Right, that's what we'll do. Right, we'll run up. Ah, I can't save the game because I haven't picked a save game. Right, apparently I'm a terrible shot, right? Right, so you can see that it hits. Glowing red eyes is a bit of a trope, is it not? Right, so arrow cam works brilliant, but for some reason it's not doing what it should be doing. What do you guys think of arrow cam? I have to ask that question. I like it. Right. Arrow cam. I have heard of Mothman, but I couldn't say that I know any more than known about Mothman. Right. Right, so this should be going to wildlife actions has been shot. It's not going to hit him. Right, whatever. That should go to there. Right, so basically I need to do, because I copied this, I need to do a little bit of work on that, but not to worry. We'll get that sorted out. Right, so we might see this working better now. I'm not having a bad word said about ArrowCam, by the way. So don't, if you've got something bad to say, don't put it in the chat because I'll get really upset. Right, and since I can't shoot from up there, because I'm rubbish shot, right? Right, so you can see there, that's kind of what I wanted to do. But I didn't quite do it properly. So we'll take a look at that again, because the camera is doing its thing. Right, I'm going to put these back in. Now this should work perfectly, but the problem is when we start adding animations to this and the arrow starts getting yanked around with the thing that it's located at, that's what's going to screw this up. But in the first instance this should work, right? But what I'm going to do is, we wanted it tastefully done, so we need a little delay here, right? And we're going to make it 2 seconds. And then we remove the blend, right? Now this is going to blend back in 3 seconds, okay? And we want one more thing. We want our camera, sorry, we want this event hit. I can't believe I've not done that. There should have been a custom event here. Custom event. That should be stop rotation. Right, because obviously if it hits something we stop the rotation. The flight rotation, right? So we do that. And we deactivate it. Okay. Now this already adds an impulse at location, right? And basically what we want is stop rotation. Stop rotation. And I can't spell properly. Now we need this to happen before the reposition camera, so that as soon as it hits, it basically stops the rotation, right? And we'll save all. Right. I'm going to show you something, Kent, in a second that I need you to do, right? Which, it's to do with this. Right. So, bang. Right. So obviously you'll see him fall down and die, right? But I don't know why it's doing that. It looks to me like it's not blending back first. Right? But you get the idea. I want it to hit and then hover above it for a second. So if it's like an animal, you'll see it fall down dead, right? And then shoot back to the player. That's what I want to happen. Right, and while we're at it, Kent, you can maybe help me on this one. Right, I was trying this earlier but couldn't get it to work. Right, now I've adjusted this particular animation, right? And you'll notice her arm doesn't look right anymore, right? But it does kind of line up, right? But the problem is that the bow string goes far too far back, okay? It just goes way too far back. Let me show you. And also, you can't attach the bow in two different places, so I can't attach yeah, but you can't. That's the problem. There is no hand offset to the string, right? Because the bow is connected at the front, right? But quite simply, I'll show you what I need, right? And I couldn't change it earlier. I don't know if I was doing something. Well, you know that I'm a complete noob at animations and stuff, so that was never going to really work. Even though I did manage to get it to kind of go in line for the character. But it's not an ideal fix. But right, this here, and let's, nobody told me again that I've not got it in 1.3 so that you guys can see this better. Right, so this goes all the way back to here. I need it to go back to about here. Right? Probably, I would say, where this part is. Where the feathers or the flight end or start. Right? Yeah, but the front hand's got nothing to do with it, right? The front hand doesn't control anything. It just means where you hang on to the bow, right? If the animation pulls it too far back, right, it just doesn't align with the hand that's actually supposed to be holding the string, right? Which is an issue in itself, but we'll not worry about that, right? But as I said, I had to fix up the animation, right? I basically copied it and then did my best to fix it. But now our elbow had to go so far back that it looks unnatural now, right? But anyway, that's enough of that. So where was I? Oh yeah, our kill cam was not blending back properly. Right? Yeah, that's for later. One thing at a time. That's the golden rule. Right, so I think I'm doing that in the wrong order. Okay, and that's why it's not blending back. Now obviously this is all going to look a heck of a lot better when we add sound effects, right? At least I hope so. Right. So, what were we doing? Can't remember. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, we're doing this, right? And it was this retargety buoy thing. Oh, that's interesting. Ah, okay. Alright, we may need to do that. And guys, I didn't hear anybody in the chat say a good thing about blooming arrow cam. I don't know why it's doing that. It wasn't doing this last night. It was actually jumping straight back to her. I have it's on Steam. There's a link in the description. It's called FTD2 and it's a tower defense game. Right, I'm going to take a break for 2 minutes. Kent can entertain you in the chat. Check out the description, guys, for links to the game's Discord server where everybody's welcome. My personal Discord as well. Also, my Patreon where you can support the channel and the game. There's another one for you, Cassadell Gaming, if you want to support. You can support through Patreon, and my previous game on Steam, which you can get for $1. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're back. No, I wasn't. I was having a cigarette like I told you. Right? Got to give a man time. Right, okay, so what are you up to? Right, so where are we? Now, this blend, I changed this. And I'm just wondering if that's what the problem is. Right, because it's basically doing the same thing as the other one, apart from it's doing it a bit slower in 3 seconds. Right, but the thing that we need to do now, to put this first part in all its glory as a first pass, is to use our animation blueprint. Okay, and as I said, that's where this arrow, oh, you've got to enjoy a nice bot. Right, so next part is basically we're kind of done with that, and now that we've added our animation, we're going to see what happens, but this might go a bit weird. Yes, Green Apple. One of my videos started with it about a week ago, where I was showing people what you can do with it. Right, so you'll notice now that our dude is standing there, still ready to get shot, of course. And there we go. Right? And for some reason, we set him to dead. He didn't go dead. He didn't be dead. Is dead, true, go. Right. Save that. Why are you no playing dead? And why are you not attaching properly, Mr. Arrow? That's the other thing. Now, it didn't go. It didn't do this. Okay. Hit bone name. We attach it there. But we're definitely setting this animation instance, right? Okay. We're going to have to put a breakpoint before that. Did I? I think I put it there. No, I didn't. Okay, I did now. Right. It's not even hitting. Why you no hit? Right. Let's check. Collision. Block all dynamic. Mesh. Block all dynamic. It's always something to do with collision, you know. Should you use real name on ending credit? Of course you should. Why would you not? That's still not hitting. This is not doing anything for some reason. Okay. Right, in the meantime, just for people are allowed their opinion. If they think it's a poorly designed game, then they're by all means invited to go to make a better one. Right. You just don't interact with them, or the best idea is to kill them with kindness, right? People don't know how to react to that. So if somebody criticises, you just turn around and say thanks for the criticism, we'll take it into account. And that immediately shuts them up. Right? The worst thing you can do is start arguing with them. Right? So you just agree with them. It's the easiest way to do it. Right. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to get the zombie here, and I'm just going to fire off a custom event just to make sure it's working. Right, and then we shall investigate that. Issue copy. Right, so we'll go into here. We are going to be ending up using begin play, so we'll just write a custom event. Right, and we'll call it got hit. And for now, we'll duplicate that. put that in there, save that, and I've completely forgot where I was. And we'll say hat, got hat. This is going to work for now, but we'd obviously want this sorted out. But if it's not attaching anyway, it shouldn't actually make any difference to us. But we need to find out why it's not doing that. Okay. So the reason for that is because in here this should not be set to looping. What in the heck is that? Apparently it hit something. Apparently it's decided to start working. Well, suddenly that code has decided to work. Right, but that was the problem I was telling you about. That animation isn't right either, right? I suppose I didn't really actually look at it very hard. Oh, that's just a hit. I just played the hit. Okay, whatever. That kinda wasn't what I wanted there. It's death. Right. And this time we'll remember not to loop it. Right, so and this is going to end up being, here's the thing. Right, we can check that out as well. There we go. Right, so that's working really nice now actually. Still a couple of things not quite right about it, but it is actually working as intended now. This part here is not what I wanted to shut down. This probably just needs to go to here. And this is all to do with when we first do this, we obviously see this is moved. I don't know what's happened there, that's moved. Oops. Good shot. Okay, let's find out what's going on here. The first thing I actually want to do, right, is I want to check this here. I want to check what that pawn is. Okay. So I'm going to say print string. Now it should be the BP parazombie, right? But you never know. It might actually not be. But I'm fully expecting it to be. Right, save that. Press play. Yeah, see it's BP parazombie. So that's what we'd expect. Resume. Did I just shoot him through the head? It depends, Green Apple. It depends how you want to do it. You can make it transition out by doing like a dissolved material. You can make them just basically float under the floor. You could do all sorts of things. You could make static meshes that look like the dead character and then instance them. You could do all sorts. It just depends what you want. Right, so I don't know why this all of a sudden started working, right? But it did, which is a bit weird. Now, what I'm going to do here is, on the BP arrow, I believe, we don't need to do that, because that started working for some unknown reason. Right, but when we position, we don't want this or this. Alright, let's see. We don't want X or Y, right? We just want it to keep facing the right direction. In fact, now, here's the thing. We actually kind of do want this, right? So let's do that. Zoom that. This is what I was kind of saying about earlier, right? When Cassadell Gaming was saying about, do we play games? Right? Now, if you don't play games, you'll not know what the different sort of tropes are for doing this in games, right? So everybody knows that you can dissolve, right? Everybody's seen that happen. Everybody's seen them just disappearing. There's fewer games that just basically sink them through the floor, but that one does happen as well. You could replace the body with a set of bones as a static mesh and then instance it, right? Which would probably be the most efficient way of doing it. Right? It just depends. Right? But as I said, without playing games to a certain degree, you wouldn't know any of these things. You would never have seen them before, right? So you've got to take your kind of cues for what these other games do normally. Right, now, that's not to say that you're always going to follow it, but anyway, that's working. It's not able to read the bow. Eh? Okay, whatever. Arrow. Mesh. Right, so we're not playing that, we're just setting that. Okay, whatever. That's probably why this is screwy. Right. But I do need, right. The thing is, right, here's the thing. The problem here is, I'm going to show you. Okay. Right, at this point, she has no arrow, right? Now, when she's not walking, her bow is basically not cocked or not notched with an arrow, right? When it is, you can see that the hands and stuff are in the right place, right? And we can basically take this breakpoint off now. Right, so what I was doing here was trying to get the animation to basically reset. Okay. I wonder. We might need another animation for this or something. Or another status of an animation. Right, so you can't stop an animation per se by the looks of it. Okay. And if we look at our arrow and we go to our, is this our arrow? Yes. And we look at the mesh. Right, I don't think I've got an it. It's not her. I'm losing my focus and concentration here. It's her. And I believe it was on here. It's not the arrow, it's the bow. What am I doing? Losing concentration, that's what I'm doing. This is what happens when you right, it's not that. Right, it's in an interactive items. This is what happens when you work on things too long. You start losing concentration, and that's when you start mucking things up. Right, you'll see that this is not set with an animation asset, right? But if I do set it with an animation asset, right? You'll notice that it's got the thing on it, right? Okay. It's got it's basically pulled back, etc. Okay. And that actually I seem to have lost the right thing on this. Because this is totally out of position now. And I had created another animation from the original, right? Which seems to have now disappeared, right? Because now that wasn't it. It was to do with her. right? It was to do, yeah, okay. Right, it was in the pawn. And it was the walking forward. It says V2. Right, this is the one that's slightly adjusted for the longer pull. And this is the one that we should be using. But I think this has went wrong somehow. I could yet. Right, but I want to test this anyway at its end point. You see that it's still weird. And that's the right one. Okay. But I need to figure out also, right? So it would actually appear to me that this part how come this is failing? I don't get it. Survival / horror in Greenland in the 15th century as playing as a Viking. That's about the shortest synopsis I can give you. Right. I don't know why this is failing. It's a really weird one. It's a really weird one unless we stick on an is valid. Right, if the bow isn't valid, i.e. we haven't actually equipped it, then obviously this should fail. Right? Now this was going to get moved out of here anyway. A lot of these are first passes at getting this stuff working to a degree. So this should now stop giving us, oh, it's still going to give us a problem, right, because the animation isn't right. Okay. But having said that, we could do that, and that resets. Well, we'll find out if it actually does. What I want to do basically is reset this, right? Reset the animation so that we're not actually doing anything with the animation. Yeah, that's not working. Right, but anyway. I'm not awfully good with a bow and arrow, am I? It has to be said. I'm not doing too much at the moment, guys, because I've realised that I need a break. because I'm making silly mistakes. Now you see how that has suddenly stopped working again? Right, that hit thing, if you remember right, it was working, then it wasn't, then it was working, then it wasn't, and it suddenly decided to stop working again. Right, now the only thing I can assume is either this is doing it, or in our bow, before we had it like that, but it is rather annoying. And the hit isn't happening. Yeah, because you should have been here earlier, right? Because I asked everybody to say what they thought of the camera, and I think it's cool as well, right? And nobody else said it was cool, right? Now, whether that's out of shyness or not, I don't know, but there we go. Yeah, Casa, it is. It's better. It's better than how many I've sold. Put it that way. It deserves to sell more than I sold. I'm not saying it's like a million seller. I'm not saying it's anything groundbreaking. It's just a tower defense game. That's what it is. That's what it does. That's what it says on the tin, right? Right, so that's all working, and I'm going to call it for tonight because I need a break, and I'm going to end up making mistakes because I've been at this all day doing lots of stuff, and you tend to get yourself confused by doing that. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit the link, subscribe, that's going to help out. Check the links in the description. Thanks, Kuzia. Thanks for popping by, and thanks for chatting. And I hope to see you again. Check out the description for links to this game's Discord, Groenland, and also my personal Discord, as well as Patreon, where you can support the channel and the game. And also my previous game on Steam, which apparently La Casa del Gaming is playing right at this moment. And it only costs $1, and that also helps out. So thanks guys for watching. Ken, give me half an hour and then we'll chat, okay? And I shall see you all tomorrow at 2 PM Central. Thanks again for watching, guys. Bye bye for now.